Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be here with Shawn Nelson, best known as the innovative founder behind LoveSac, the billion-dollar furniture disruptor redefining sustainability and design. Shawn, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. So let's go back in time a little bit. How did you get started? How did you originally decide to start LoveSac?
Yeah, look, I just had a dumb idea to make a really big beanbag when I was just graduated from college. I was about 18 years old and thought it'd be a funny thing to do. So got off the couch, drove down to Joann's Fabrics, bought some vinyl, black and tan vinyl, brought it home, cut it out, sewed it up, jammed my mom's sewing machine. So my neighbor helped me finish sewing it, and then looked around the house for stuff to put in it, and couldn't buy enough beanbag beads at Michael's. So ended up, packing peanuts, old blankets, but it was the camping mattresses, that I was able to cut up into strips using a paper cutter that made it squishy and soft and actually not a beanbag at all. And that was the birth of the first LoveSac. That became my side hustle in college, selling to friends and family who, had to have it because they saw it driving up and down the street in the back of a truck over and over again. And shortly after that, kind of found our way to a trade show, got a big order, built a factory, and then were rejected by all the furniture stores who didn't want giant not beanbags. So we opened our own store in a shopping mall, and fast forward all the way to today. That was, 1998 to 2001 when we opened our first store. And today we have 300 locations around the country. We're publicly traded on NASDAQ, have a few thousand employees, and sell mostly other furniture like couches and whatnot.
So the longer version that should be in a book somewhere if it isn't already.
It
is awesome. Absolutely incredible journey. Can you take us back to kind of the moment when you realized LoveSac would be more than just, a side hustle?
I don't know, man. There were 100 times I was trying to get out of it, take a real job, because for the first 3 years, I was a waiter paying my way through school, and LoveSac kind of just took all my money, trying to fix the shredder, fix the van, buy more fabric, like any startup sometimes does. And the trade show is kind of a last ditch effort. We, had friends always trying to buy these things, but in order to really scale it, we knew we had to sell more than one at a time. And it was kind of a nice way to say, well, at least I tried. And in fact, we paid our way, credit carded our way to Chicago to attend this promotional product trade show. We could put your logo on these things, who knows what. Red Bull had bought like 50 from us. So it gave us the idea that there might be a path, to chunkier sales. But we came home empty-handed, and it wasn't until my phone rang while I was down actually stuffing a LoveSac for a friend or whatever, answered it, LoveSac Corporation, and took this order for $250,000, which at the time seemed like, just a massive opportunity, bigger than we could deal with, but sourced the product in China, manufactured, stuffed all the sacks in a factory we built using farm equipment, just kind of kept doing the next thing. And the next thing after that was to open a store because none of the real stores would have us. So, all along the way, trying to find an exit hatch, never finding it, And now here we are.
Well, there's certainly a roller coaster or a few in there. You're known for innovation, especially with the sectionals. What drives your design and innovation process?
Yeah. So as they say, you have to innovate or die. And really, I think my innovation process is mostly driven by my life on Earth. And what I mean is, we all experience different pain points or different issues. And I think whenever you look around and experience trouble with something, there's a business opportunity there. And in our case, from that first store, people were trying to buy couches from us because we had a couch in the corner to look pretty as part of the decor in these giant not beanbag stores. And people on the daily would ask, how much is that couch? And I don't know, go to Raymore and Flanagan. Like, it was just there to look pretty, but it obviously got us thinking. And the problem became, we can't ship these, we can't stock them. One of the reasons the sack business was always a good business is because we could take this 8-foot round sack and shrink it down to 1/8 its original volume, pack them in these duffel bags, and that made us both internetable and stockable right out of the gate. The covers could come off, you could have different fabrics. So it was a really great logistics business. If only we could do that with couches. And so in solving that problem, and this is the key, I think, to innovation, we didn't just solve that problem. Yes, we were able to invent sectionals, these couches that with 2 simple pieces, you can build anything you like, add on, grow it, change it, or rearrange it forever. As a couch, you can have the rest of your life if you want to, because it was built well. Like we actually make the most impervious stuff on earth. But more importantly, the platform was designed to evolve. And therein lies a formula actually for all of our future inventions that we're working on now. But even this one invention, sectionals, has gone on to be the most, the best-selling sectional in the United States of America by the numbers. And propelled a business that's done many billions in sales and is growing toward $1 billion annually. And my point is, in solving that one problem, it allowed us to solve 3 or 4 or 5 more that couches had. We made them washable and changeable and completely rearrangeable, and all these things that were a little bit out there, but not to the extent that we were able to take them. And that's given us a framework now to, I think, invent all kinds of other things that we've both launched as addendums to sectionals, as well as stuff that you have not seen yet that's coming from LoveSac as we continue to grow.
That is absolutely incredible. What are some ways you've integrated sustainability into the company's DNA?
Yeah, look, it's neat that LoveSac, we're told by Reprieve. So Reprieve is the biggest recycler of plastic bottles on earth. They do this work for Amazon and Walmart. And after those 2 companies, LoveSac is the next biggest repurposer of plastic bottles into fabric. We're proud of that. But I think the more important part is that, here in the room with me is a sectionals piece that's 18 years old, mated with some brand new pieces, wearing its 10th set of covers. And we pride ourselves on making products that can actually sustain, like stuff that can actually last a lifetime because it was built that way, which it is. Solid hardwood frames, steel construction, all kinds of, great materials. More importantly, though, again, it can evolve with me as my life changes. So it can move. This chair sitting here could become a couch, has been a couch, has been part of a sectional, has been an ottoman, a chaise. It can do all these things, and that evolutionary aspect of our designs really makes them have a life that can go well beyond a typical product that, even if it's okay from a durability standpoint, you're going to leave at the curb because you're over it from a style standpoint or whatever. And so we're really proud of products that actually sustain. And that's our path to sustainability, even more than the plastic bottles that we're also proud of.
You've achieved so much success. What's your biggest challenge now?
Oh, well, like I said, evolve or die. And so we have to continue to invent new products. We've built a business that if we're successful at scale, as we're successful at scale, there are fewer couches sold on earth. That pretty much flies in the face of the way most businesses, have been built over these last, decades, right? Like the phone in your pocket was designed, as you know, to find its way to a quick death not too long after you bought it. So whether it's by convincing you that it's defunct or by actually making the battery, degrade, or who knows what, right? These are not even conspiracies anymore. These are well-known facts. So because we're so committed to sustain-able products, we must branch into new realms and compete in other places and find growth that way, because hopefully our users will have their couches for a very long time. We're proud of that. So we'll continue to bring these designed for life, that's what we call it, these designed for life products to the market in other rooms and realms of the home. Just in this next year or so, you're going to see a lot of really cool action from LoveSac. And, we will continue to try to spread this gospel to those who are willing to listen. And we call it, buying better so you can buy less. And that's just not something that most product companies are willing to say, but it's what we eat, sleep, and breathe here.
Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
Thank you. Sorry, what did you say? You broke up.
What do you like best about what you're doing?
I love the challenge that business offers. Business and entrepreneurship is like 100 things at once, right? Whether it's design, coaching, leadership, people, process, AI now, every realm is met and every challenge is brought through the process of building something that is meant to grow. And I'm still just enamored with all of that. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to face into it. It hasn't been easy. I mean, LoveSac's been a saga. I did write the whole story into a book called Let Me Save You 25 Years that, really tries to be really candid and open about all the challenges that we had, mistakes, miracles, and lessons from the LoveSac story, it's called. And my podcast, we highlight all these kinds of lessons as well with other entrepreneurs. And that's been a fun aspect to what I'm doing today is both from a cultural standpoint, using the book and the podcast, as well as from a giving back standpoint. It's a book I wrote for myself when I was in my 20s, just getting started.
Awesome. Well, we'll make sure to get everyone to go get the book, Let Me Save You 25 Years. Tune into the podcast, Let Me Save You 25 Years. This has been Seth Greene for Sharkpreneur, Shawn Nelson. Shawn, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks everybody for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.